The one decision that changed his life forever. Tom lived a quiet life in a small village called Riverdale. At 28, he worked as a carpenter, spending his days fixing broken chairs and making tables for his neighbors. Though he was good at his job, Tom often felt like something was missing in his life. He wanted to do more, something that truly mattered, but he didn't know what that could be. One sunny afternoon, Tom was walking home from the market when he spotted a bright poster on the village notice board. The big, bold letters read, "Volunteers needed, help build a school for children in need." Beneath it was a picture of children sitting on the ground under a tree, with no proper school building. Tom stopped and read the details carefully. The work involved traveling to a remote village, helping with construction, and spending several weeks there. He hesitated. "I'm just a carpenter," he thought. "I don't know anything about building a school." But as he walked home, the image of the children on the poster stayed in his mind. That evening, as he ate his dinner, he kept thinking about how those children had no school to sit in. Finally, after a restless night, Tom decided he would give it a try. A week later, Tom boarded a bus heading to the remote village of Sunvale. As the bus bumped along the dusty roads, Tom looked out at the fields and hills, wondering what awaited him. When he arrived, he was greeted by the village leader, an older man named Mr. Coffey, who shook Tom's hand warmly. "Welcome, Tom," Mr. Coffey said. "We are so grateful you've come to help us." The village was small, with mud houses and a big open field where the school was supposed to be built. Tom saw children running around barefoot, laughing and playing. When they saw him, they waved excitedly. One little boy ran up and said, "Are you here to build our school?" Tom smiled and nodded, feeling a little nervous but also determined. The work started the next day. It was harder than anything Tom had ever done. He carried heavy blocks, mixed cement, and helped put up walls under the blazing sun. By the end of the day, his arms and back were sore, and his hands were covered in blisters. That night, as he lay on a simple mat in one of the village houses, he wondered if he had made a mistake. "This is too hard," he thought. But then he remembered the children's faces and how excited they were about the school. Every day, Tom worked alongside other volunteers and villagers. One of the children, a 10-year-old boy named Sam, came to the construction site every day. Sam had bright, curious eyes and carried a small notebook wherever he went. He loved to draw, and every day he sketched pictures of what he imagined the school would look like. One afternoon, Sam shyly approached Tom, holding up his notebook. "Uncle Tom," he said, "this is my dream school." Tom looked at the drawing and saw a colorful building filled with children sitting at desks, reading books, and smiling. The picture was simple but full of hope. Tom felt a lump in his throat. For the first time, he realized that this wasn't just about building a school, it was about giving children like Sam a chance to dream and learn. From that day on, Tom worked harder than ever. He used his skills as a carpenter to make wooden desks and benches for the classrooms. He showed the villagers how to cut and shape wood, teaching them skills they could use even after the school was finished. Slowly but surely, the school began to take shape. Tom also grew closer to the villagers during his time there. In the evenings, they would gather around a fire, singing songs and sharing stories. Tom learned about their traditions, their struggles, and their dreams for their children. He felt a deep connection to them, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he was truly part of something meaningful. After weeks of hard work, the school was finally completed. The villagers planned a big celebration for the opening day. Everyone dressed in their best clothes, and the children couldn't stop smiling. Sam was chosen to cut the ribbon at the ceremony. As he held the scissors, his hands trembled with excitement. "Thank you for building this school," he said to Tom and the other volunteers. "Now we can learn and become anything we want to be." As the children ran into their new classrooms, laughing and cheering, Tom stood back and watched with pride. He had never felt so fulfilled. He realized that the hard work, the sore muscles, and the sleepless nights had all been worth it. That evening, as the celebration wound down, Sam's mother approached Tom. She took his hands and said, "You didn't just build a school. You gave our children a future. We will never forget what you've done." Tom felt tears well up in his eyes. When Tom returned to Riverdale, he couldn't go back to his old routine. The experience had changed him. He started a small group in his village to help other communities in need. Over time, they built more schools, community centers, and even health clinics. Years later, Tom visited Sunvale again. The school was still standing, full of children and life. Sam was now a young man working as a teacher in the same school he had dreamed of as a boy. As Tom walked through the colorful classrooms, he smiled. One decision, a simple choice to say yes, had changed Tom's life forever. And it had changed the lives of many others too. The end.